like to, well, this is Ricky Scott, Dr. Ricky Scott. I'm the chairman of the Raleigh Commission for Persons with Disabilities, and I want to welcome each and every one of you to our annual award banquet. This year's theme, I might add, is connecting voices, building bridge. I'm all flustered here this morning. Connecting voices and building communities. And that is what we're all about as a committee and commission. And all of you have certainly been involved in helping us with that. So again, thank you all for coming. But before I move on to the next part here, I did want to mention that at the conclusion today of our awards banquet, there is going to be a survey sent out. And what we'd like for you to do is to fill that survey out, providing your comments and providing any stories about advocacy or any concerns to help us connect with the community. Well, today I also like to welcome our Mayor, Honorable Mayor Janet Cowell. We are pleased to have you here today, Mayor. And let me tell you, just let me give you a bit of information about our distinguished mayor. Can you hear me now? Okay. All right, y'all hold on for 1 second till we get that set up, and then we'll continue on. Okay, in regards to our mayor, she was elected to she was elected mayor in 2024. She has an undergraduate degree from the University of Pennsylvania. She earned her MBA from the Wharton School of Business. Originally, she is from Memphis, Tennessee. She moved frequently while she was a child, and during her childhood years, she moved because her father played a significant role in new church developments. She continued this tradition during her early adult years with studying and working in Europe and Asia. Mayor Cowell has been a resident here in Raleigh for almost 30 years, and she has been a great public servant during those years. She has served a total of 15 years, not only as on our city council, but she also served in the North Carolina Senate, and she also was our state treasurer. You know, she knows how to manage money because she's served as our treasurer, and we're seeing that with our city. Thank you very much, Mayor. And she is, in fact, the first and only woman who has served as treasurer for the state of North Carolina. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Scott, for that introduction. And I am Janet Cowell. It's my honor to be mayor of Raleigh and to be with you here today. Also want to point out that Councilor Christina Jones is with us. We'll see, is anybody else from the City Council here? I am here because this is very important work that you're doing. And I want to understand better all the work going on in the city of Raleigh and beyond, the leaders in this space. I'm looking forward to Senator Lisa Grafstein's talk. We have known each other for since I was General Assembly and beyond. So she has been a lifelong advocate for these issues and has a wealth of expertise, both as a professional and then also obviously in her elected role. So looking forward to that. And just all the different leaders that are being awarded we have all these awards behind us, and I will help handing those out and recognizing those. But I just want to say, I think, the city council, we all know the importance of this. Please, as you have ideas or stories or experiences that we need to hear, share those with us so that we can further improve services, obstacles, so that all of us can thrive, here in Raleigh. So just appreciate this whole event today. And I will now invite Reverend Robert Parrish, who will be giving an invocation for today's lunch.
Let us now bow for the invocation. O Holy One, throughout human history, you have heard the pleas of your people. These pleas are heard and voiced in inspired writings of Scripture. In fact, the people of Israel, the Jewish people, pleaded to you, and you heard their cry, and you delivered them from the cruel hand of Pharaoh. From the days of Jesus, we have the parable of the woman who pleaded to the unjust judge until she was heard. In the Old Testament of the Bible, in the Psalms, we learn of the pleas of David, who said, "O Lord, how long?" These pleas were ones of justice to be met and for various needs to be addressed. Today, these cries look like the pleas of inclusion and equality. And there are those who would try to stifle these voices, but we thank you that there are those who have hearts of care and do hear. Today, there are those amongst us who will receive honor for what they have done to build bridges for those of us with disabilities and everyone to be able to participate and engage with full society. While we thank you for hearing our voices, we know that you are a God of eternal hope. And as we thank you for this food that we are about to receive, we pray that you will strengthen us all to bring about justice and equality for all. In your many names we do pray. Amen.
Okay, everybody. Our menu today, but before I give that, I want to let you know that for those, we're having a buffet style, and for those who wish to be assisted, there are city staff persons here who are volunteering to assist with those who will desire assistance in getting your meals today. Okay, our entree, the choices that you have to choose from today is herb baked chicken breast or pan seared salmon with bourbon glazed side salad. The sides that we have are honey glazed carrots, broccoli lemon roasted potatoes. Our choices for dessert, you have a choice between tuxedo log cake or carrot cake. All of that sounds great. And you know, I have to add, you know, Robert, I've known him for quite a while. And one of the chief reasons he became a minister, because he knows he will always get a good meal. All right, so let us all enjoy our meal, and then we'll reconvene after that. Thank you. I hope that you all enjoyed the meal. It certainly was extraordinarily good. And if I was a younger man, I'd go back and get another plate. But as we proceed through our program here, I am happy to welcome Matt Kazanow, who is the broadcaster for my favorite basketball team, NC State University. So let's give it up for Matt Kazanow here. He chose a great university to come and do the broadcasting for. He spent the first 10 years of his career living in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He began broadcasting his broadcasting career with High Point women's basketball. And he also broadcasted for UNCG's women, their basketball team. Also, he was with Learfield. He has a family, of course. He has a wife named Ashley and a 5-year-old son named Nathan. And I'm sure that he exercises his broadcasting voice when he tries to keep that little one in line. I remember so well when I had one at age. We moved in 2015. He moved out west and he was broadcasting Washington University football and men's basketball and baseball. Yeah, Washington State University, yeah. He also broadcasted on the national level, both college basketball and football, working for Learfield and Westwood One when he was living out there in Washington. Last year, he moved back here to take the job at NC State University to broadcast Wolfpack basketball and football. He's excited to be here in North Carolina to broadcast ball for us. Matt, we appreciate you, and I look forward every time to your broadcasting those victories. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. I knew I'd be in friendly territory here, my preferred color palette of red and white. There are some parts of the triangle where I'm slightly less welcome, depending on whatever shade of blue you may have affinity for. So thank you for that introduction, Dr. Scott. Before we get started, I do want to note we had a couple of late arrivals from counselors Megan Patton and Corey Branch. Thank you guys for coming here. Senator Lisa Grafstein is a long-standing civil rights attorney and serves as litigation counsel at Disability Rights North Carolina, spearheading strategic legal advocacy for people with disabilities. Prior to joining DRNC, Senator Grafstein worked in private practice, primarily in employment law. Since 2007, her peers selected her for inclusion in Business North Carolina's legal elite. She was elevated to the magazine's Hall of Fame in 2011. Senator Grafstein also received recognition in employment law by North Carolina Super Lawyers and Best Lawyers in America. In 2011, North Carolina Super Lawyers named her among the top 50 women lawyers in North Carolina. Senator Lisa Grafstein is also North Carolina State Senator representing District 13 since 2023. As a public servant, she brings deep expertise in disability rights and a powerful voice for equity and inclusion.
Good afternoon. I've had a lot of experiences in my life, but being introduced by a sportscaster is a peak moment for me. That booming voice, the clarity. I really appreciate that, Matt. Appreciate you. I also want to note that Councilmember Stormy Forts also joined us this morning, so thank you for being here as well. Couldn't sneak in. I also just appreciate being here with you all and the opportunity to be with you today, to be among friends. I see a lot of familiar faces here, people who are committed to justice, equality, and inclusion for all. And I think that's this is an important time for us to be together. I want to start the way you're not supposed to start, with an apology, and that apology is that I will have to leave after my presentation, and unfortunately I'm not going to be here to watch the award recipients. We are in session in the General Assembly today, and so I'll have to rush down there to vote no on some things. So I apologize in advance for that. In 1966, a law professor named Jacobus Tenbrook published a law review article entitled, entitled "The Right to Live in the World, the Disabled in the Law of Torts." Professor Tenbrook was one of the founders of the National Federation of the Blind, and a well-known advocate in his time, and to this day, obviously, amongst many in the disability world. And I promise to you that I'm not going to read you this law review article or to talk to you at all about the law of torts. But I want to start with this law review article because in it, Professor Tenbrook puts into such stark terms what it means for people to have access to living in the world. Something so fundamental as living in the world has been and continues to be the product of ongoing advocacy and hard-fought victories around disability inclusion. But Professor Tenbrook was articulating at that time, 1966, for many people this was a new idea. So I want to read you that first couple sentences from the law review article. They're a little old-fashioned because of the time, and I will tell you right now, 1966 is the same year I was born, so it was 59 years ago to the day. Here's what he said. Movement, we are told, is a law of animal life. As to man, in any event, nothing could be more essential to personality, social existence, economic opportunity, in short, to individual well-being and integration into the life of the community than the physical capacity, the public approval, and the legal right to be abroad in the land. The right to live in the world, as Tenbrook saw it, is the right of every person, regardless of ability or disability, to participate fully in society, to move about, to learn, to work, to thrive without artificial barriers. Tenbrook argued that disability should not segregate individuals from the public sphere, nor should it diminish anyone's status as a citizen. In his very influential writings, he offered a perspective grounded in the equal dignity of every person. The right to live in the world is not merely about physical access, it's about social acceptance, it's about legal protection, and the recognition of human dignity. It's the foundation upon which all other rights are built. The notion that each of us has an equal right to be treated with dignity and respect. And I will say, Pastor, I think that's the basis for a lot of the biblical texts you were referring to earlier, that equal dignity and respect that we're all entitled to just as children of God. The right to live in the world ensures that people with disabilities are included in education, employment, and community life. It demands that our laws, protect against discrimination and uphold the values of fairness and respect. And it insists that every person matters and is equally entitled to the opportunity not just to live, but to thrive. Part of what sounds old-fashioned, I think, about the statement from Professor Ten Broek that I read, I hope it sounds old-fashioned because right now it's less controversial, I think, to assume that everyone has a right to live in the world. That was not so in 1966 or in the decades that preceded it. People with disabilities were routinely institutionalized without much thought really given to how they might be integrated into the community or how they might have a right to live in the world that ought to be respected. When we think about folks who are blind, like Professor Ten Broek, or folks who have other sensory disabilities or physical disabilities, it's pretty uncontroversial now, I think, to say that everyone has a right to live in the world. What tends to get pushback, tell me if this seems familiar, is when people ask folks who are running businesses or planning events to consider disability access or pay for that access, or when access requires changing how we've always done things. That's sometimes a whole different question. It's hard to ask people to change, and it's hard for people to understand sometimes the need to change. I think it's also a different response sometimes when it comes to disabilities like mental health disabilities, traumatic brain injury, substance use disorders, and intellectual or developmental disabilities. The presumption about inclusion and the presumption of the right to live in the world is sometimes lacking in these contexts. We're struggling right now in this country around mental health and access to services. Unfortunately, there are those who want to respond to this crisis by demonizing people and returning to the days of simply institutionalizing people with certain disabilities. I think this is a result of misunderstanding about our current mental health system. People see folks in crisis or who are not getting the support they need, and they believe on some level that they're less worthy or that there is something better for them behind the walls of an institution. Many people don't understand that what they're seeing is largely the result of our collective failure to ensure that high quality, reliable services and supports are available in the community. While there may be times when people need more intensive services for a period, including hospitalization, what the medical and social and experiential evidence shows is that supportive communities and access to adequate community-based support services create the best results and allow people to exercise their inherent right to live in the world. We have never truly met the need in this regard in our country and in our state. There's also a cycle of stigma, I think, where a failure to understand what's driving this crisis causes some folks to place blame on people with disabilities, stigmatizing disability and making it even harder to address the unmet needs that we see. So I raise these issues here because so many people here are advocates in one way or another. The disability rights movement has come as far as it has come because of the work of advocates, and because it's been a cross-disability movement. And sure, maybe a few lawyers helped along the way, but we would not have really had progress that we've seen in the years since Professor Ten Broek without those who are willing to do things like start up the first Center for Independent Living at UC Berkeley, which was done in the 1970s, or to engage in the sustained sit-ins that we saw as necessary for passage of the regulations around Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, or to engage in something like the Capitol Crawl that forced the hand of lawmakers in Washington to finalize the Americans with Disabilities Act. These were all the actions of advocates. So I raise these difficult issues here about what inclusion means and how we might think most broadly about it when it's most difficult, because I know the people in this room understand the urgency. While we reflect on the progress we've made in disability rights, I hope we can also acknowledge the challenges that remain and the role that each of us can play in shaping a more accessible world across disability. When the right to live in the world is fully honored, society benefits. I think people in this room understand that. We become more innovative, more compassionate, more resilient. We see the talents and perspectives of people who might otherwise go unnoticed or underappreciated. And we create communities where everyone belongs. That's one of the reasons I really love being in disability spaces, is because it feels like a community where everyone belongs, and that's not a question. Progress in disability rights has never been automatic. It has required the courage and persistence of advocates, people willing to challenge injustice and envision a better future. Thanks to advocacy in all its forms, we have seen remarkable achievements. The passage of landmark laws, as I mentioned, the expansion of accessible technology, and I think, as a side note, a lot of folks who don't engage in the disability community or don't have disabilities themselves don't realize how many innovations really have come out of disability advocacy. But we're in a perilous time right now, whether it's the gutting of the Department of Education and how that's going to impact special education services, of which my son was a beneficiary, whether it's deeply concerning issues around Medicaid, both at the state and federal level, whose impacts are going to be disproportionately felt by people with disabilities. Rather than closing the gap on unmet need for services in our own state, we are making it harder for people to be able to access services they need to stay in their home communities and to get the services they need to live in the world. The deeper and darker reality of these attacks is that they reflect, in my view, a disregard for the lives and rights of people with disabilities. There's a deeply troubling backlash against the progress that's been made. And it's not just sort of a repeal of progress, but it seems to me a repudiation of the very ideals upon which the disability rights movement has been based and the premise that everyone has the right to live in the world. There's a more sustained and virulent pushback against inclusion than I ever would have imagined that we might see in my lifetime. Here in North Carolina, the attack on inclusion has been explicit and intentional, rolling back inclusion efforts in our public schools, in higher education, and state employment. The great mistake or fallacy in this attack on inclusion, as well as diversity, is that it relies on the assumption that some people are entitled to live in the world and others do not inherently have that right. And we know that that's not true. The premise is that that right is something that can be taken back at will. One of the insights that the disability movement has brought forward, I think, is that disability is a function of how society is organized, right? The world was not built with people with disabilities in mind. Accommodations are needed, adaptations are needed, modifications are needed because of this simple fact. For decades, we've been trying to basically retrofit the world so that it includes everyone, both in terms of the built environment, the buildings we come in and out of, as well as things like social structures or assumptions about behavior. But there's nothing inherent or inevitable about steps to a building or social structures that make it hard for people with autism to participate, or even talking movies. You know, when you go to the movies, it's just audio. But if you remember, movies were actually originally subtitled, right? That was the natural state of movies when they were first invented. It was pictures and subtitles. Sound only came about later. But we think of subtitles now as an accommodation or an adaptation, but it's really just the product of a choice that was made. All of these choices that are made about the built world around us and about how our work lives and other aspects of our lives are structured, these were choices that were made, and they were not made, as I said, with people with disabilities in mind. So to me, when we talk about inclusion, we're not talking about doing someone a favor or changing standards to let people in who don't deserve to be there. What we're talking about is challenging false assumptions and making adjustments to retrofit the world so that everyone has not just the right to live in it, but true access to the opportunity to thrive. So that was very heavy. Let's just take a minute. But what I really came here to say was that advocacy is needed now more than ever. Tenbrook's legacy teaches us that civil rights are not given. They're claimed, they're defended, they're expanded through collective action. The right to live in the world is not a privilege, but a promise that we each must keep for all of us. So let's honor Professor Tenbrook's memory by continuing his work, by advocating, educating, building bridges. I didn't even know that was the theme, but building bridges, those bridges of understanding that are going to take us into the future. Each of us has a role to play in that, whether by speaking out, supporting inclusive policies, or simply listening to the voices of those with lived experience. For my part, I'll continue to raise disability issues whenever I can at the General Assembly, and I'll continue to fight for inclusion in whatever way I can. But I really, truly want to thank you all for your commitment, for the commitment of everybody here, all of the elected officials, all of the staff, everybody who showed up today to be supportive of the disability community, but first and foremost, the advocates and those who are living these experiences and coming forward with their stories so that we have a different future. So with that, let's carry Jacobus ten Broek's vision forward until the right to live in the world is realized for all. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Senator Grafstein. It's time now for the awards portion of the ceremony. So I will call out your name, and when you are ready to receive your award, please come up and accept it. We start with our Employer of the Year Award, and the winner is Marissa Krisman. This year's Employer of the Year Award recognizes Marissa Krisman for her outstanding leadership and lifelong commitment to advancing employment opportunities for individuals with disabilities. Throughout more than 3 decades of service at LCI, one of the nation's largest employers of people who are blind, Marissa has been a driving force in creating inclusive workplaces that empower individuals to thrive. She has built innovative programs such as the Workforce Innovation Center, championed upward mobility for employees, and mentored countless leaders in the disability community. Her vision and advocacy extend beyond her organization, influencing state and national conversations on accessibility, inclusion, and self-determination. Marissa's work reflects both strategic excellence and deep compassion, ensuring that people with disabilities are not only employed, but supported in achieving their fullest potential. For her tireless dedication and impact, we are proud to honor her with the Employer of the Year Award. Congratulations.
Well, who wrote that? It's an honor to be here. What a privilege to serve alongside people who are blind and visually impaired. I've been with LCI for 30 years. We've been in business over 80 years. So I hope we continue the legacy and keep hiring. And we are hiring if you're interested. Thank you.
Our next award is for Excellence in Housing, the Excellence in Housing Award, and it goes to Hope NC. The Excellence in Housing Award honors organizations that expand access to safe, affordable, and inclusive housing for individuals with disabilities. This year's recipient, Hope NC, has set a remarkable standard by ensuring that people with intellectual and developmental disabilities not only have a place to live, but also a true sense of community and belonging. At Grosvenor Gardens in downtown Raleigh, Hope NC has worked tirelessly to provide residents with individualized support from the housing application process to ongoing day-to-day assistance. Their on-site community facilitator helps residents navigate challenges, build meaningful connections with neighbors, and engage in community life. Through inclusive programming, partnerships with schools and local organizations, and the creation of shared gathering spaces, Hope NC has transformed affordable housing into an environment of dignity, respect, and belonging. For their innovative and holistic approach to community housing, we're proud to present Laura Wells with Hope NC's Excellence in Housing Award. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. This truly is a partnership with multiple organizations. Hope NC is trying to show the world, but mostly the state, what can be done when you get a bunch of good advocates together. So without Alliance and CASA, we wouldn't have been able to make Grosvenor Gardens happen. So I'm just really grateful. The city of Raleigh and the county, Wake County, have invested in Grosvenor Gardens and the apartments as well. And like I said, it's truly a partnership, but we're hoping to see more and more inclusive housing like this across the state. So thank you for this honor. We're really grateful.
Our next award is the Excellence in Education Award, and we present it to Taylor Aforney. The Excellence in Education Award recognizes individuals who expand access to academic enrichment and learning opportunities for people with disabilities. This year's recipient, Taylor Aforney, has transformed educational access at NC State University through her visionary leadership and tireless advocacy. Beginning as a part-time interpreter, Taylor identified the need for greater coordination and support for deaf, hard of hearing, and deaf-blind students, and went on to establish the university's Deaf Services Department. Under her leadership, the program has grown significantly, expanding interpreter teams, doubling the number of deaf students supported, and advancing inclusive policies such as picture-in-picture live streaming to ensure statewide accessibility. Taylor has also built pathways for future interpreters by creating internship programs and advocating for the development of an ASL program on campus. Her work prioritizes the lived experiences of the deaf community while bridging gaps in access, equity, and inclusion. For her extraordinary commitment to expanding academic opportunities, we're honored to present Taylor Aforney with the Excellence in Education Award.
Thank you so much. Thank you specifically to the deaf, hard of hearing, and deaf-blind communities who brought me up and taught me so much and have given so much. Thank you to NC State, specifically the Office of Equal Opportunity, for developing this position, and thank you to my family.
Our next award is for Excellence in Transportation. The Excellence in Transportation Award goes to Carla Murchison Utley. The Excellence in Transportation Award recognizes individuals and organizations that expand mobility and access for people with disabilities in our community. This year, we're proud to honor Carla Murchison Utley for her more than 2 decades of dedicated service with the City of Raleigh's paratransit system. Throughout her career, Carla has been a steady and trusted presence, ensuring that countless riders with disabilities could rely on accessible, accurate, and compassionate transportation services. Her commitment has been described as unwavering, providing consistency and care through many changes in leadership and operations. For riders, her work has meant not only dependable trips, but also peace of mind, dignity, and inclusion in the life of the city. In recognition of her outstanding contributions to transportation access, we're honored to present Carla Murchison Utley with the Excellence in Transportation Award.
Excuse the nerves, but I'd like to thank all of the Go Raleigh Access riders for all of your patience and all of your generosity actually over the years. To the person that nominated me, thank you. I feel like I'm just doing my job, but I appreciate all of your recognition. And to the Go Raleigh Access team, it takes a team to get it done, so thank you. And to all of the transportation department, thank you.
Our next award is the Excellence in Recreation Award, and it goes to Ginger Rush. The Excellence in Recreation Award honors those who expand opportunities for people with disabilities to engage in inclusive and meaningful leisure activities. This year, we celebrate Ginger Rush for her decades of dedication to recreational access and community connection. Since moving to North Carolina in 1994, Ginger has been a driving force in supporting blind and visually impaired athletes, serving as a player, volunteer, and leader in activities such as blind bowling, beep ball, and audio darts. Known affectionately as the Outlaw Taxi, she has not only organized and participated in recreation events, but has also provided reliable transportation to ensure that community members could attend practices, tournaments, and games. Her contributions extend beyond sports, as she has supported individuals with everyday needs, helping them stay engaged, connected, and included in community life. For her tireless service, compassion, and leadership, we're proud to present Ginger Rush with the Excellence in Recreation Award.
I'm still trying to figure out who to blame for this. But thank you very much to whoever it was and to all of you who know me. And yeah, are there any outlaws in the house? And by the way, if anybody wants to come try bowling, we bowl on Friday nights, Buffalo Lanes North. Come find us on the high end of the alley.
The Outlaw Taxi. The James E. Meekins Award goes to Angus Cola. The James E. Meekin Award honors an individual with a disability who has demonstrated outstanding achievement in the workplace while raising public awareness of the contributions of people with disabilities. This year, we're proud to recognize Angus Cola for his extraordinary impact as a professional, advocate, mentor, and role model. As a senior digital accessibility analyst at Abler, Angus has advanced inclusion by developing assistive technology resources, testing and remediating digital platforms, and training others in accessibility and universal design. Beyond his professional accomplishments, he is a dedicated athlete, speaker, and community advocate who demonstrates daily that disability inclusion strengthens us all. Perhaps most importantly, Angus has empowered others by mentoring interns, and colleagues, providing the skills, confidence, and support needed to launch meaningful careers in accessibility. His work reflects both technical experience and deep compassion, embodying the very spirit of this award. For his leadership, advocacy, and commitment to empowering others, we're honored to present Angus Cola with the James E. Meekins Award.
Wow. Being addressed as an athlete by a sportscaster, that is an award upon itself. But I want to accept this award not only on behalf of myself, but also on behalf of all people with disabilities, especially those who bring awareness every day for inclusion and also for making the world a more accessible place for everybody. I also want to give a huge shout out to my family, who is probably streaming this far and wide across the world, to all my friends, and of course to my teammates at Abler and at LCI for making this opportunity a reality for me in order to making a difference in the lives of all people with disabilities. Thank you so much.
Our next award is the Citizen Involvement Award, and it goes to Project Menu Sense. The Citizen Involvement Award recognizes individuals and groups who advance opportunities for people with disabilities through leadership, creativity, and action. This year we honor Project Menu Sense, founded by students Therakesh Suresh and Nithin Mahalingam for their innovative efforts to improve accessibility in the Raleigh community. Noticing that many restaurants lacked Braille menus, they took the initiative to research, translate, and print accessible menus, by using resources at NC State University. By providing these menus directly to restaurants, they have empowered individuals who are blind or visually impaired to independently enjoy dining experiences with dignity and choice. Their work demonstrates how creativity, empathy, and determination can remove barriers and foster inclusion. Perhaps most inspiring is the reminder that meaningful change can come from anyone at any age when driven by compassion and vision. For their outstanding contributions to accessibility and community equity, we proudly present Project Menu Sense with the Citizen Involvement Award.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? So it's a great honor to be here and to receive this award from the mayor. I would first like to thank the North Carolina State University for offering their Braille embosser, which is what we use to translate our menus. And to Nathan Ram.
At first, when we started this project, it started out small, and to get this award, it's a very exciting opportunity. I hope this award inspires more people to join our cause and we grow bigger. Thank you, everyone.
Our next recipient was unable to be here, but the Lockhart Fallen Mace Award goes to Dr. Alan Chase. The Lockhart Fallen Mace Award honors individuals who through years of advocacy and leadership have advanced self-determination, equity, and opportunity for people with disabilities. This year's recipient, Dr. Alan Chase, has devoted his career to advancing disability rights through education, advocacy, and mentorship. His journey began in 2007 with legislative advocacy in support of the North Carolina Disability History and Awareness Month Act, and has since grown into decades of service at the community, state, and national levels. Dr. Chase has served on key committees, including the Association for the Education and Rehabilitation of the Blind and Visually Impaired's Accreditation Committee and the Governor Moorhead School Human Rights Committee. In 2008, he founded a nonprofit program to empower youth with visual impairments as they transition into higher education and the workforce. An initiative that continues to support around 50 young people nationwide each year. Recently completing law school, Dr. Chase has further committed himself to advocating the rights and opportunities of individuals with disabilities through legal advocacy. His lifelong dedication, vision, and leadership embody the spirit of this award. We're honored to present Dr. Alan Chase with the Lockhart Fallen Mace Award. Let's give all of these incredible individuals and organizations one final round of applause.
Well, everybody. It is always an honor to host these awards each year, and it goes to the commitment of the City of Raleigh for supporting the Commission for Persons with Disabilities so that we can recognize and honor those individuals, those organizations, those businesses who have striven over the years to ensure that persons with disabilities have access, not only access, but have inclusion in our community life. As you wrap up things here today, I want to give my thanks to Christina, Raquel, and Maria for their extraordinary efforts in making this a successful event. In addition to them, I would like to thank those on our awards committee and for the strong leadership that Mark Teague gave toward that effort. Mark, Robert, and Paula, thank you all for your efforts. And as always, you know, I always want to thank the mayor for coming, because the mayor is indeed an essential person in what we do. So thank you very much, Mayor Cowell. Thank you, thank you. And as we go forth from this place today, let us continue to connect voices, build communities, so that we can make sure that our advocacy efforts will have powerful influences for years to come. As it was stated, we're in challenging times, but you know what? When challenging times come, those who are strong will stand. And the disability community has always risen to the occasion. And so we will do the same as we have done in the past. And one last thing that I would ask each of you to do, consistent with our theme, connecting voices. And I would ask you to reflect upon yourself over this next year to connect with an organization that you may not have connected with in the past. So by those individual connections, we can continue to expand our growth and our influence. So let us commit ourselves to reaching out to an organization, whether it's a disability organization or any organization of advocacy that strives to include all of America's children, all of its people, so that we can all live, grow, and thrive in this great nation of ours. Thank you all very much for coming today, and I look forward to seeing you all again next year. Oh, a picture. Oh, one last thing. There's a group photo, and we want you all to come up so we can get those pictures, so we can have those as part of our memorabilia. So who's going to? The award recipients? Yes, the reward, yes. Yes. All right, come on up, come on up. And I would imagine there'll be some other pictures that will be taken. I know Philip loves to take pictures. So let's get some pictures taken here. Thank you all very much.